All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. We are going to be jumping into game number 1 between these two players. As we spawn down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, the red Protoss player himself from Flipside Tactics. Give it up for Bailey. Or Bales, sorry. That's his first name.
And his opponent, the green Terran player, he is representing Team Gravity. It is EJK. Evan De Kim. There's a De Kim.
It's Evan D.E. Kim. I don't know what the D.E. stands for, though. It's like he wants to be Dutch or something.
I know. I have no idea. Or maybe he's like a CSGO map. It's like D Kim. Instead of like D-Dust.
D-Dust.
So.
Well, I really liked Evan D.E. Kim, too. A lot more than Evan D.E. Kim. Speaking of Evan D.E. Kim 2 versus 1, one thing that EJK was really, really well known for quite a bit of time is he was a player who loved going for mech. He was actually a really, really big buy-into player that bought into mech. He wanted to make it work so badly. But about yesterday or the day before yesterday, he was messaging me. He was like, "You know what? I don't think I can make mech work. Like, I'm giving up on it. At least in TvP, I'm going for bio."
Didn't the mech god Avalo just made it back into Grandmaster with mech?
I don't know, man. Maybe EJK he needs some time to take a break from mech so he can revitalize his mech motivation. Mech motivation.
I like that. The alliteration is real.
Yeah, but he has been going to bio, and it's sort of funny because he was telling me, I was like, you know, I just kind of gave up on it. I'm still learning some of the intricacies again of bio again, but I'm just like winning. I'm just winning so much more. I'm just beating better players and all this other stuff, or not necessarily players that he's saying are better than him, but just players that he wasn't beating before with mech. He's like, I'm suddenly beating them now. It's like, oh, bio is really good actually.
Yeah, wasn't EJK doing a lot of that kind of blue flame Hellion with cyclones, and it wasn't just like a traditional turtle mech. It was a very, very crazy style too. And the composition in the end was a lot different than some of the comps that I've seen before.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the most passive style of mech.
I called him Bailey too. Sorry. But Bales was also doing no, he's doing more of a style that he usually does, right? Like I feel like he's just getting better at the game, but
absolutely,
you know, playing the style that he usually likes.
Bales is one of those players that I think, as you were saying, like he plays like that very, very solid style that just sort of relies on him playing really, really well. He has really good mechanics, and that's one of the reasons why, for example, his Phoenix controls out of this world in like PvZ.
It's really nice, yeah.
But yeah, like he doesn't need to do anything super crazy ridiculous. He just plays Bales and kind of beats his opponents through sheer skill, like for lack of better
It really
words
does, and he's been playing in a lot more things as well. I love seeing it, the fact that he's so active yet still being in school. I believe you got a little girlfriend now too, so
yeah.
You gotta
spending a lot of time doing that. Playing a lot of League of Legends. I see those streams. I see you on those streams, Bales.
So, but he looking like he's going into that kind of safe Protoss style. You know, he's not setting up for like a blink all in, at least what it looks like. I haven't seen the gateways come out yet.
There's only one warp gate out right now. If this is a blink all in or anything, even though he's chrono boosting blink
all in I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, his warp gates would be unbelievably delayed compared to his blink research if this was a big attack. This is something that I just feel like a lot of Protoss players have been doing, just because blink useful against the Liberator openings, useful against just harassing your opponent with small little squadrons of blink, just getting scouting information. Like, it's just so useful to have blink as an opening that it's really made a big comeback lately.
Yeah, it's really amazing with dealing with the drops, which is probably what we're going to be seeing, of course, as EJK going back into that bio style. I wonder if he's going to be a little bit rustier, though, you know, because he hasn't been playing it for so long. But I still believe he played a bio-heavy style in TvP. If I do remember correctly, or
yeah,
like was he ever like straight full mech, like you gotta go mech or go home?
EJK?
Yeah,
he would sometimes, I think, mix in some of that bio style, but like he was pretty into mech, I believe. At least lately. Right. At least lately.
Okay, cool.
We did have a Widowmine drop. Didn't really do too much damage over there. Bales had a pretty good reaction. He was able to clean up those Widow Mines, I believe, with the Observer. Only one worker killed. And at the same time, we have another little push out over here from EJK. I believe it was also spotted with the Observer, but Bales is thinking that this was going to be moving out straight across the map. I don't think he was aware that it loaded up into the medevac and is now going to be dropping into his main base where he's pretty unprepared.
He doesn't have much there. I mean, he doesn't have anything. He has an Observer, which probably should be at the edge of the base, but here come the Marines. And that's a lot of Marines here, Fair Dragon. He even sees the Observer. Oh my god.
Oh.
Eagle Eye over here.
Oh, Immortal going to try and buy a little bit of time as the probes actually starting to go down in pretty big numbers. 11 workers killed so far. I think it's a total of 10 killed with that drop. Mothership Core goes down. Stalkers are going down. This has been a very cost-effective drop.
This drop is amazing. Oh my god, he's gotten 25 kills already. Takes out an Immortal. What? He just came out of nowhere, and the fact that he saw the Observer was pretty impressive too.
Yeah, and also this Widow Mine, and the Widow Mine's also at the third expansion, where I think some of those probes are transferring. 8 workers killed, 5 workers killed on the other one, so 13 workers killed total between them, 36 workers killed. Bales is down to just 31 workers.
Yeah, that is way too much damage to take. Although, you know, he could transfer some of them over to the gold. He has a second gold over an... Oh, how many kills? A Widow Mine just got, I don't know how many kills. Double Widow Mine drop. 6 on one, 11 on the other one.
Yeah. Those 2 Widow Mines have been putting in the work, and I still don't think that Bales has realized that those Widow Mines are there. Okay, well, I guess he does have the Photon Cannon. He probably does realize it now. That other Widow Mine, oh yeah, this is what I was afraid of. That Widow Mine could just try and reburrow elsewhere. Probe's going ham on it, but not able to get it. Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yeah, that's really annoying. Bales is taking way too much economic damage. And EJK behind it all is going to be looking like, you know, transitioning into more barracks. Did he get his upgrades though? You know, he got +1. He didn't just decide to start that +1 armor yet. And he should, you know, he should start getting in those upgrades. You do not want to fall behind in upgrades in this matchup.
Yeah, so far he's actually sitting up in upgrades. And oh, these siege tanks doing a good bit of damage. Oh, disruptor shot though. The playmaker for every Protoss player out there is getting some pretty good damage done to EJK. Is definitely softening up this army quite a bit.
Yeah, this is an army too that is trying to siege up in between the natural as well as the third base.
Ooh,
and you do need the bio in order to cover the siege tanks, and they're going to go down. The siege tanks are naked. There's nothing here, but there is a drop in the main.
Yeah, the disruptor also does manage to clean up the army on the third expansion, but this drop in the main is mostly cleaned up, but not before it kills off almost all of the workers in the main base. EJK is just continuing with the aggression. He's also doing a great job keeping these medevacs alive. Even when he ends up losing the drops and everything, he ends up keeping those medevacs alive, and that means that his Marines and Marauders have so much more stability. Bales is absolutely just relying on these disruptor shots to keep him in this game.
That's basically the only thing that he has holding him together here. And if EJK is not paying attention, he needs to be so careful, losing so many units.
It's, oh god.
This is brutal.
We're getting to the point where now EJK is finally establishing a very late third expansion. And yeah, Bales, he's had his third expansion for a while, but let's be realistic. With only 26 or like 29 to 32 workers, you're not actually mining from 3 bases. You really aren't making use of the 3 bases.
Yeah, the only, oh my goodness, he needs to pick up. Okay, but he's going to just take out the disruptor instead. Yeah, he's not mining efficiently, but he does have enough amount of workers in order to like saturate the minerals on the gold and get a decent amount, but that doesn't matter. Way too much damage, man.
EJK taking game number 1 against a player that I think a lot of people would say is like one of the best North American Protoss players.
Yeah, he got blindsided though. You know, the first drop caught him off guard. And I really do think, imagine if that observer was up to the left a little bit. He sees that coming. He has his mothership core in position. He can warp in, and he just doesn't lose that many probes. But, oh goodness, man. Ever since that drop happened, it was just like, oh my god. EJK kind of, he was feeling himself, and he never stopped with the pressure.
Yeah.
God. I do want to shout out the 2 players that are playing. I believe they are streaming, by the way, so if you do want to check their perspective out, feel free to. But remember that if they are on no delay, don't come over to the chat with like spoilers and whatnot, because
0 tolerance on that, guys.
0 tolerance for it. You will get
banned. You will be banned, like just straight up.
You're gonna get the boot.
It's
the hammer.
Yeah, there's 0 tolerance on that, because spoilers are just definitely not tolerated here on BaseTradeTV.
But I'll tell you, man, if I catch you spoiling, I catch you spoiling, hit you up with that band hammer. You feel me? This is you, and this is. Oh, just
Hey
kidding.
man, why does that spaghetti have a microphone above it? Cannot unsee on that emote. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're hopping into game number 2. Arena is going to be the map. We'll see you guys there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're hopping into game number 2 as we spawn up here in the top left-hand corner of the map on top of the red Protoss player from Flipside Tactics. Give it up for Bales.
Excuse me. And on the other side, representing Team Gravity, he's green. He's up by 1. He is EJK.
You know, Tempo, it does pain me a little bit to say this, but I kind of feel like Bales, he hasn't really been getting as many results as a lot of people expect him to be able to get lately. He hasn't been doing like the best in a lot of the qualifiers he's been going into. I feel like the only place that I'm really seeing a lot of success from Bales is actually on the ladder. The last time I checked, I think like 4 or 5 hours ago, he was number 2 on the ladder. But besides that, I haven't really been seeing too much out of Bales.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I did mention it earlier that he's just like playing better, but I do realize that he hasn't been getting a lot of results. I think one of the bigger results I saw him get was like a win in the college StarCraft League, and that's because he's Bales, of course. But
it was also really funny. I heard like during those games he was saying like, I just get my roommate to play, and then I just tell him don't do anything, and then he just 1v2s everybody
with the Archon mode, right?
Yeah.
People were joking about that. I think the casters were.
I don't actually think, like, according to Bales, I don't know if that's actually a joke. I think that might legitimately be what's happening.
Honestly,
Oh, Bale. Tempo, where'd you go, Tempo? All right.
Oh, my internet connection is unstable, it says.
It just told me my internet connection was unstable, but nobody was lagging the game, so I guess we're okay.
Okay.
Welcome back, man.
All right. Cool. Sorry about that. I might have went Mr. Destructoid on you.
So let's really quickly talk about what we have coming out of EJK, because this has definitely been a bit unordinary. I think he went for the factory before he even started at the command center, so he was able to get up the factory really quickly. He was able to get up a tech lab and get out a very early Cyclone. This is, I mean, the Cyclone.
Is not your average build.
Wait, no. Okay, Cyclone's not out yet. Okay, it's gonna be out soon.
But when it comes out, I mean, Bales has to think in his head. These Marines need to bait over to the factory, though. Oh, it goes down. Oh my God. I feel like Bales should have been expecting that to happen. And he did, but...
Yeah, just reacting a little bit too slowly, I guess. Like, he should have maybe recalled right before that Cyclone popped out. But Adept does delay this natural expansion command center for a bit. And Bales went for a much earlier Nexus than EJK went for his CC. So, this could still work out okay for Bales, despite losing that Mothership Core.
Yeah. Wow, that's actually really annoying, though, you know? He's trying to be a bit annoying himself by trying to take out the anti-air and then possibly get a lot of SCV kills behind it, but nope. EJK said, not in my house, and he even is able to get a bit of aggression done with the Cyclone.
Yeah, this almost reminds me of like that Nathanias Ghost Pepper build, except he doesn't do anything like lifting up his barracks to get information of the high grounds for like picking off those pylons or anything. He's not doing any of that. He's not getting that Cyclone upgrade. It was just kind of one sort of safety Cyclone, which is definitely useful against like an Oracle opening, which by the way, we have Phoenixes coming out instead. But still, Cyclones are pretty good against Phoenixes.
Yeah, they're pretty good. If the Phoenixes can jump on the Cyclone, though, that's usually the best case scenario. It will negate their attack. Even if they lock on, it just cancels it. You can pick up Widow Mines if you do have the detection with it as well, but yeah, where do we go from here? Bales losing his Mothership Core. Luckily, didn't take like economic damage after. The counterattack was not that successful out of EJK. All it did was force out, I believe, the Mothership Core that just came out to do a photon overcharge.
Yeah, I mean, Bales is going to have some nice map control with these Phoenixes, and the important thing is, again, Arena, a map that is very short air distances, so be able to pick off medevacs and stop them, be able to get free pickoffs like that, well, almost free, as one of these Cyclones are going to die. Oh, I like the EJK. He goes through the scan just to make sure he can maintain that Cyclone vision on that Phoenix and gets the pickoff. Trading a scan for a Phoenix, I think that's actually pretty okay.
Oh yeah, I would say so. It's going to be a really nice defensive posture out of EJK. And I think he has a little bit of that mech in his mind, you know, like it's like, oh, the one true love that you just never let go.
Yeah, you know, those siege
adding
tanks,
tanks too.
those siege tanks, I would say, definitely have been something that I've seen a lot of other players also mixed in. People talk a lot about like, oh, you know, siege tank this and siege tank that, and like TVZ and everything, and you know, the siege tank with medevac micro. But at the same time, like, I feel like just straight up siege tanks have been playing a really cool role in TvP, where they have been able to deal with a lot of blink stalkers, and this is something that they've always been able to deal with, but I've just been seeing a lot of siege tank pushes in the mid game, and they've been really cool and effective, and they create really interesting dynamics.
We even saw it in the last game on Prion or Prion Terraces, where he used them as a zoning tool, was able to make the stalkers have to do these awkward blinks on top of them, and just it creates a really awkward situation. And if you can use them to zone out and you have an army lead as well, Widowmine drop, that's gonna be pretty good. Oh, Bales is just getting wrecked by these. He's only lost 3 workers to it in the natural, but in the last game, how many of those did he lose? It was like,
he lost a lot. There was a point where he had lost more workers than he had ever made in the entire game, and it was around the time that he had made about 60 workers in the game.
And he was on double gold. There's not going to be any golds unless he was able to take a warp prism over there to the gold. Or maybe even take the one all the way on the other side of the map, which is possible. He put a pylon over there.
That is a really cute pylon. I'm not sure if that's just like a, I want to make sure that I have a pylon out on the map sort of situation. Just because Arena, I think there are some weird situations where you can find yourself kind of in this weird container where you can't make it across that bridge, but this is a really, really far off pylon. Bale's looking like he wants to be a bit aggressive with these adepts and everything, but I feel like these siege tanks are going to make it very, very difficult unless the adepts are able to get on top of it, but the marine count is pretty high.
Really nice reaction out of EJK, just moving the tanks.
War Prism coming out over here for Bales as well, and he's getting charged. He's getting a Dark Shrine also. Is that where the Dark Shrine going down? No, it's not at the proxy pylon.
Oh, yeah, I thought he was going to proxy it over there or something, right?
Yeah. No, it's in the main base.
Alrighty. Well, perhaps it'll just be there to spot. Or maybe if EJK were to take the goal over there, he's like, no, no, no. You're not taking that.
Well, EJK is definitely building up this kind of scary Marine Marauder siege tank army. And again, it's like those mid-game siege tanks that get really, really scary. And this is the time where they are the scariest. Phoenixes are starting to fall really, really quickly as they do get a couple of good pickoffs, but... Well,
they tried to get the Cyclones there, but they weren't that successful. This is a location you do not want to fight siege tanks in. It is way too choky. You'll take far too much splash damage as the adepts do tend to clump up. But, you know, Fear Dragon, this could be a distraction for when the DTs are able to be finished, as there is a Warp Prism, as you noted, right by the gold base in between the 2 bases. But if you can keep EJK occupied enough, I think he could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, EJK is starting to move across the map, and he doesn't exactly have a lot at home. He does have some missile turrets, but let me tell you something, Tempo. Missile turrets get taken out very quickly. Marines and Marauders make it through the choke. Siege tanks actually siege up in a great position, where now they're going to be cutting off this army between outside of their natural expansion.
Yeah, he might have to use them defensively here. Bales needs to do something. He's kind of just taking a beating, kind of figuring out what it is that he needs to do. He's going to go with all of his adepts and shade on top of the siege tanks.
Nexus goes down first, though. The adepts now moving on in. They're going to be able to at least do some damage to these siege tanks and the Marines and Marauders, but I think there's just way too much over here for EJK.
Whoa.
EJK is powering on through with a 2-0 victory.
Whoa, I would have loved it if he were to warp in some DTs, because remember, EJK was only working off of 2 command centers. So he would have ran out of scans relatively soon.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, you know, even just having, I don't know, like an Archon or something, it's added damage versus the Marines. It takes some of those siege tank shots. I know he was waiting on, like, charge and that kind of stuff, but he didn't actually have many zealots warped in yet. So there was, like, this big investment into a lot of different pieces of tech that he really didn't have the ability to make use of for that defense.
Yikes.
Well... big congratulations to EJK. I know he's going to be very, very happy about that, especially since he's, again, made that recent stylistic switch from mech to bio. And I guess kind of in the between state right now where he has bio and mech. But at least
that one was kind of a cool little mix. Got a few cyclones here. The siege tanks do really well on arena.
Ooh, I want to really quickly hop to our short commercial break, but as we hop into the next series, I see some really cool series going up because EJK is going to go on to face off versus Jon Snow right now. We have Gosu, or sorry, not Gosu Cham, but we have Cham facing off versus Creature, and I think a couple of really cool matches are going on. We're going to be back in a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. You are watching the Chairs4Gaming North American Cup.